today I am in LA. I just recently got to my hotel not too long ago. So I'm in LA for an immersion with my school, and I decided to make an LA travel vlog. So I'm gonna just record my time here in LA. So I decided to vlog it. So this is my hotel. My stuff is in the way, so let me move my stuff out the way, and then I'm gonna show y'all my room. I am at the Garland Hotel, and when you walk in, this is how it looks. It's so pretty. This hotel is like, focus please. This hole is like literally so pretty, but when you walk in, we have this big mirror here. That's cute. This is like, we have all of this, and then you come right here. This is the bathroom. I didn't hang up any of my stuff yet, so all of my stuff is like right there. So this is like my luggage, my bag, my coat and stuff. But this is the bathroom. No, the toilet, the shower. Yeah, basically. And then when you walk in, you have, look, it's so pretty. You have the closet here. This is the closet. Like I said, I didn't hang up nothing yet. This is the TV. This is the bed, the lights. I cut on the lamp, and look, they have this. I'm like, oh, this is so pretty. And you just get to, like, you can go out here and sit. But I'm gonna close that because I don't want anyone looking at me. I may go out there too. And then this is this. Oh, and you have the giant mirror right here, which I really like. I'm probably gonna take a lot of pictures in here. But so yeah, so right now, let me put this back up. So I'm gonna start ironing my outfit and everything, and I'm gonna get ready for the welcome reception. That's later today. It's only 1:30 here. Well, it's about to be 1:30. Basically it's 1:30. It's like 1:28, but it's only 1:30 here. But back at home in Detroit, we're actually 3 hours ahead of California. So back at home it's about to be 4:30. So I've been traveling since, well, my plane was originally at 6:45, and then there was like a small break, and then like you switch planes. So basically I've been on a plane all day, if you want to say, like, even though the day here is not over, the day home is not over, but most is later there. So if I was back at home, I'd be like, well, basically I've been on a plane all day, or at the airport all day. So anyways, I'm gonna get back to y'all. I'm gonna record and everything. Well, I'm gonna try to record and everything. So I'm gonna get back to y'all. So I'll see y'all later. Want to say hi? That's hi. That's a great camera.
That's awesome.
Oops. I think I started it. It's not even focused, so.
Don't forget your water jug.
Oh, thank you. I did forget about it.
I'm glad I walked by.
Thank you. I just came back to put up my, they gave us like sunglasses and a water bottle, and then I came back to just put my bag and stuff down. But they're actually all about to go to the hot tub. I didn't bring any clothes for the hot tub, like my outfit for today. And then you can also wear it open like this, you know, like I did it. So this is like the outfit. I wanted to record a little more, but I just, like, you know, like in the moment, I just didn't, but I'm gonna try to record more tomorrow. But anyway, they actually gave us these really cute water bottles. I love when like events give us water bottles because I love water bottles. So it's just a water bottle with like our school name and stuff on it. So I'm actually about to leave back out. The event is not over yet, but so I'm about to leave back out, but I just wanted to update my vlog. So we're going to Universal Studios tomorrow, so I'm gonna try to get like some pictures there. I'm gonna make sure I take a picture at least there if I don't record, and I'm gonna try to get like some video footage too. So Kaylin. Hello, vlog. I'm trying to get like.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thrilled to be doing this. I am very excited that Mitch is kind of my partner in crime on this whole weekend. We are going to have a blast. Mitch and I actually did go to college together.
What a surprise.
I know.
We knew each other as undergrads.
We knew each other as undergrads, which is super exciting and super fun. But I think what's really special about our relationship, to be honest, and we were talking about this last night, is I think like our bond actually grew stronger even as alums. And that's the wonderful experience that you're going to be getting here today, is getting in connection with all of these alums, because you're going to be graduating soon and you want to be part of this Newhouse network. You've heard about it before, right? Everyone heard about the whole thing, Newhouse network? This is the reason why all these speakers are coming to speak with us today. I think there's only one exception of one of our speakers who is not an alum, but everyone else is. And that speaks very highly to how much they have commitment to you, being current students, as well as to their community of everyone within the Syracuse community. So very excited to have you there. A little quick background about myself, and I'm going to patch over to Mitch because he's got a phenomenal background. I graduated from the Newhouse School, as Carolyn mentioned, with a degree in advertising. Worked at a very small startup agency back in the day when the internet was just kind of like emerging. And I will say that I always had a North Star that one day I really wanted to work for the Walt Disney Company. That came along about 3 years later, and lo and behold, I wound up working there in their first foray into digital at that time. So this is like way before like Disney Plus. And made a career working in digital for quite a few years before moving over to Cartoon Network. And again, worked in digital, but within that job, and this is something you're going to hear a lot throughout the talks this weekend, is about people making a little bit of career pivots, and I would say that was my first career pivot. I had kind of been more on the technology side, more focusing doing on digital pieces, and all of a sudden I was moved into a role of marketing, which you would think there'd be some context related to it, but I had to learn a lot of new skills. And I will tell you, it was probably one of the most important things for my career to make that pivot into something that was larger and broader. From there, made a move over to back over to Disney during a time when I think many of you grew up, which is, did anyone see High School Musical? Hannah Montana. I was part of all of those launches, and yes, Zac Efron actually lived in my building. So yes, when he was a youngin, but definitely worked with all of those folks and was part of, and I have lots of fun stories to tell you about that later. And from that move, decided to make a move back to the New York area and wound up still working for Disney within their book publishing division. So again, another interesting type of pivot that I was able to do. And worked there for a few years before deciding, hey, you know what, I kind of miss that TV thing. I wound up going over to MTV and worked there, working on the VMAs, Movie and TV Awards, a lot of like the live programming, but we also did a lot with the reality shows. So yes, I did work on Teen Mom and shows that some of you probably had those little bit of guilty pleasures on. But then again, my last kind of big professional career move was over to Scholastic. I kind of, you see, foray between both books and both TV. Got to work on, obviously, Harry Potter, Hunger Games, some of the big ones that we probably, again, all read. Love working on these major projects. And then, kind of got this like itch and had been going on for a while. In between all of this, day, as I called my day job, I wound up actually teaching as an adjunct for NYU, and I just was loving teaching, and I was trying to figure out, how do I make this happen? How do I make this happen? Dean Kaplan's here because he was part of my discussions having with him that I wanted to one day teach, and he's like, well, you got to teach for Newhouse one day. And so lo and behold, I am teaching for Newhouse, as well as also teaching for another school in New York called Immersion University, and I teach a number of different courses there, and one of my favorites is actually a class called Disney. So it's kind of fun that I'm able to kind of bridge my career and stuff together. But I'm very excited to be here and share the floor with my amazing friend, and pass it over to you.
Thank you. I don't think I need this.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to LA. I am a proud double alum. I graduated from the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs in 1992. There's our first speaker, so I'm glad he's here. In American Studies, which was a major that combined American history and American literature. And then I ended up staying at Syracuse for a fifth year, as I like to joke, a good fifth year, not because I was behind in studies or couldn't get classes, but ended up getting a master's degree in the Newhouse School in television, radio, and film production. And because of that program, I moved to Los Angeles. Prior to all of this great facility, the great programs that LA now offers to SU students, I was on what was called the Hollywood Benchmark Trip, which allowed 12 students to come to LA to meet our alumni. It wasn't a class, it was literally just to meet our alumni. In those days, people like Dick Clark, who I got to meet as a student, to Peter Guber, who was chairman of the board of Sony Pictures Entertainment at the time, and many, many, many other alumni, and not so well-known alumni. A lot of people that were, right out of school like myself, or I was going to be at some point. And so when I went on that school trip, it changed my mind and changed my trajectory immediately. I remember, again, showing my age, being at a hotel in Santa Monica with my fellow students, with our chaperones, and calling my parents on a payphone, because we didn't have cell phones in those days, to say, Mom and Dad, I'm moving to LA after graduation. I love it here, and I've only been here 24 hours. And so that began my journey. As soon as I graduated from the Newhouse School in August of 1993, 3 weeks later, I was on an airplane out of JFK, moving to LA, and I've been here now almost 32 years, which is pretty crazy given, for this East Coast kid, I still feel like I'm a New York City kid, which I am, but I have lived here longer than anywhere else in my life. And so have had a great career, like Mindy said, working in PR, another area that I wasn't 100% sure that I would get into when I first moved here. I originally thought I would be a producer of a TV drama or a TV comedy series on network TV. In those days, NBC, CBS, ABC were, the kings of television. Has changed a bit in those 30 plus years, but that's kind of what I thought I would do. But my first job that I got in the industry was in feature film publicity at MGM Studios, the fabled Lion, Leo the Lion logo studio, and worked on a bunch of films in PR, and loved it so much that I ended up staying in the PR world for my career, and had moved on after MGM to Disney, working in at Buena Vista International Television, which in those days was the international television division of Disney prior to even the ABC merger. So we're talking about when Disney was a bit smaller than it is right now, and I was able to work on shows and movies that were licensed to TV stations around the world. So if you saw a show like Grey's Anatomy in France, or if you saw a show like Scandal in Japan, that was our division licensing those shows to those TV stations in those countries, and we would work on the PR for those particular series, again, movies, whatever Disney was selling overseas. Then I left to work at Columbia TriStar Television, owned by Sony. It's better known as Sony Pictures Television these days, and worked back stateside, worked in PR on syndicated series, cable series, shows like VIP with a woman that I'm sure you know, Pamela Anderson. It was right after her Baywatch days. Got to travel the country with her, doing PR tours, things like that. Worked on a lot of other shows like Battle Dome with also another unknown person named Terry Crews. Do you know who Terry Crews is? And it was his first show that he ever did back in those days. And every time I see him, he's always like, "You were there at the very beginning. You were there with me from the very beginning." He was a nice guy then. He's still a nice guy now. But worked on a lot of fun shows. Worked on a show called Strong Medicine on Lifetime that Whoopi Goldberg executive produced, which was really great. And then I left there to go over to ABC as a consultant, worked there for a little bit, worked in Disney TV animation as a consultant for a little bit. And then in, 2003, I came back to ABC as a full-time staff member working in daytime. So I worked on the PR for a bunch of daytime projects, specifically General Hospital, a little soap opera that has been on the air for almost 63 years, which is pretty crazy. And so worked on that, and then moved over to Primetime and worked on a lot of different shows, which I'll probably talk a little bit more about in my discussion with our fellow alum Lauren Collins later this afternoon, but worked on shows like Dancing with the Stars, the Bachelor franchise, the Goldbergs, a show called Gallivant, which was Dan Fogelman's show before This Is Us on NBC. He had this musical comedy series that took place in medieval England, and we filmed the show in England and worked with some of the great actors of our time, and also got to work with Alan Menken, who is obviously the legendary composer who was, a big part of my life growing up. Even before his Disney shows, he worked on Little Shop of Horrors, and so that was a show that I had loved as a teenager. And worked there for a long time, and then unfortunately there was a thing called the pandemic, and companies started to cut back on their staffs, and unfortunately I was part of the layoff class, as I like to say, of 2021. After 17 plus years of service to the Walt Disney Company, I was laid off, but I pivoted, like Mindy said, and created my own PR firm, and ever since that's what I've been doing, working for a variety of different clients, everybody from the Oscars to the Emmys to the Griot, Byron Allen's platform, to Fox Entertainment, to Lionsgate Plus, their streaming service internationally. And so it's been a fun ride for 4 years. And then, I got that master's degree at Syracuse partly because I wanted to teach someday, like Mindy. I have a lot of similar stories. And so when the opportunity came about that the PR Immersion Week, which is during spring break class, would need a new professor. The professor that was there who created the program or created the class was stepping down. He recommended me for the class, given I'd always been a speaker of his class over the years. And so in 2023, I put my, my professor cap on and started teaching a Immersion Week entertainment PR class, which I just completed 2 weeks ago right here in this building, and have done that now for this was the third year. Really enjoy teaching students. I'm very thankful for that master's degree that I got at Newhouse all those years ago, and since then I've actually been hired to teach at 2 other schools, like Mindy as well, one for Elon University down in North Carolina, and then just this past December, and I'm currently teaching it now for a little school on Long Island called Hofstra University, which I'm sure you know about as well, given we're all from New York. And so that has been my journey. LA's been very good to me. I'm very happy that you're here. I always put myself in your shoes. I remember what it was like to be a student and thinking that working in Hollywood would be the coolest thing ever. And now, all these years later, it's hard to believe that I'm of the age that I am, that I can talk to you like right now. And we have a great 2 days ahead. Some of these people I've known, the speakers, for many, many years. They're all proud to be Syracuse Orange. I would hope you would be too, and just make a mark for yourself, because you've gotten a great education at this school, and I think you're going to just do great things moving forward after graduation. So welcome, and I guess I'll get Rob as our first speaker. So be ready to be engaged, ready to ask questions. He is pretty amazing guy. I met him when I was on that Hollywood trip as a student. I was in his living room at the time, meeting him and his young wife at the time, his young kids at the time. He was working on a show called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on NBC, but has done many, 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 many things since, including the newest Captain America film. He wrote the screenplay of that film. So Rob is great. He was, like me, president of the alumni club here in LA for many years. And so I'm very happy that he has agreed to speak with you all today. So I think they're just trying to find him. I know he was wandering the halls. He's been here many times. He talks to students. I think he might even teach a class here from time to time. So he's pretty cool. Words, everybody.
Oh, really?
Here you go, sir.
All right.
You want to sit?
Yes.
Would you like some water, or you got your coffee?
And my coffee.
Good. There you go.
And if you want, I can plug in and I can.
Oh yeah.
I got show and tell.
You got show and tell.
Ooh.
Yeah. Where is your plug-in? We have some show and tell. This is Carolyn. Everyone? Oh, okay.
I like to tell big stories. I like to take on projects that are kind of could easily blow up. You know, first Black Princess. If you blow that thing, then everybody's gonna hate you for the rest of your life. You know, same with Black Captain America. Boy, yeah, everybody loves that idea. So. Yeah, I love to do that kind of thing. And apropos of this conversation, there's a lot, you can see a lot of heavily marketed stuff going on here. So, of course, Captain America, you can barely, you know, kind of pass a billboard without seeing something. There's, every time you go to a theater, there's some kind of a representation of Red Hulk somewhere. It's really well marketed all the way through. The same thing is happening with King of Kings, you know, Oscar Isaac and Kenneth Branagh, and Forrest Whitaker. All those guys are out front helping us market that, and we're hoping to do the same with Defiant. Defiant was a challenge because it's a huge story that nobody knows about and nobody wanted to tell. And so we said, well, there's no IP on it that we liked. We'll create the IP. So I started writing graphic novels. We have 4 graphic novels that will create 4 comic books, 26-page comic books that will create a graphic novel. The comic books are on 4 bestseller lists, has already started winning awards before we release the graphic novel. Graphic novel comes out on Juneteenth, haha. and I already got 2 nominations for book awards for a book that's not finished yet. So I'm feeling really good about that. And then just this week we got a call from Robert Smith. I don't know if you know who he is. Yes. Billionaire. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Hey, what do you guys need?" So I was like, "Oh, $50 million." So, you know, so pocket change. So we'll see. I think it looks like we're going to make the movie probably this year. I'm making the deal to. Do you have someone in mind for the title character yet? Oh man, see, it's crazy because okay, well, we're family, so I can talk. But the you know, I just did the movie that I didn't mention is another. I have a 3rd movie coming out this year. It's crazy. That I wrote and directed called Sneaks, and Anthony Mackie was also the star of that. Anthony Mackie, Martin Lawrence Fishburne, Chloe Bailey are in that thing, and so I have
dropper.
Exactly. Like, you know, well, and I'll tell you, you sweat these things out because you write them, and you know, it's like if you build it, will they come? And so you write it, and then nothing happens. It goes all over town. Everybody reads it, and then you say like, oh, nobody wants to do your movie. Okay, well, fine. And then all of a sudden you see like, oh, you know, Sir Ben Kingsley wants to, and right after that, boom, 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 boom. And the same thing happened with Sneaks, where nobody wanted to do it, and then everybody wanted to do it. So that was great. With Defiant, I'll pull the root. I like Anthony Mackie, but Robert Smalls was 23 when he stole the planter. And I know that with like, was it Black Messiah? The actor who played it, the character, the person who he was portraying was 19 when he went through all the revolution and all that stuff. The actor who played him was 40 and just looked different. You just have this different thing about you when you're 40 or when you're 19. Yes, you have a big actor, but a lot of the storytelling goes away. So Anthony Mackie, I would love to have do it. I know that he plays Cross. Aldous Hodge. Aldous Hodge, as soon as we started talking about, like, yeah, we want to do a thing about Robert Smulders, like, here's my number, whatever, what do I need to do? And so I talk to him all the time. I love him. He's younger and could probably do it. And then there's some other younger actors. Who do you guys like? Who would you watch? So you make a $50 million movie, right?
You're like casting directors now.
Yeah. You make a $50 million movie. You got to make 150 back. So people have to go to the movie. And so it can't be just some guy you saw on a TV show or whatever, a guy who does some, the Kool-Aid commercial. That doesn't work. You need somebody with bankable power. So that's why you go older, you're more established. There are some people who are on TV shows. There's that guy who's on Who Sells Drugs. What is that thing?
Damson Idris.
Yeah, right. Snow something?
Snowfall.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's my favorite. I love him. I love him so much.
I love that man.
I love him so much. And Snowfall is like, Snowfall is one of my favorite shows. I love that show.
But yeah, he's good. There's a couple of guys who are like that because I like that little bit of youth, in there. Also, casting his wife is going to be interesting. There's the guys that steal a planter with him that I'm doing, and I'm telling it kind of like I did with King of Kings, where it's a grandfather telling the story to his. It's Robert Smalls telling the story to his grandson as he goes. And as we're selling the comic book, it's interesting because a lot of parents are saying, like, okay, is this really slavey? Because a lot of times when you get into those narratives, it's all whips and chains, whatever, and it's just triggering, and people just go. People just walk out. And so I said, no. This is an inspirational tale told about whatever. That we have to kind of, for me, start a different way of telling these stories, so they're not just about white people bad, black pain and stuff. It has to be, no, if there wasn't slavery, we'd be doctors and lawyers and millionaires, and we'd be building cities and fixing things, and the world would be a better place. But racism, and so we're getting it. Any ideas? Who?
Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith. Really?
I can't see that. I can't see that at all. I can't see that at all.
Denzel Washington.
Denzel. Well, that was a one thing that came up. Is Denzel, and then his son plays the younger, and then his other son, who's a director, would direct. That's on the table. That's on the table. Yeah. Making a family.
Caleb McLaughlin.
Yeah.
That's great.
That would be good, actually. Denzel and Caleb McLaughlin, that would be a good.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Beautiful and wonderful, strong.
Karen Washington, she just did.
Yeah. If Anika Noni Rose could de-age,
Angela
I would work with
Bassett.
Anika Noni Rose every day of the week.
She plays a good mom.
She sing
I
too.
love her.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so I'll open it up to questions.
I just really quickly, could you just
Oh,
tell,
sure.
again, before you walked in, I said that I've known you since I was a student.
Yeah, right.
When you were working on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and we thought that was the coolest thing because it was the hit NBC series of the early 90s.
Yeah.
Thinking of your Syracuse time and to now, what would you tell yourself, and did you think yourself as a screenwriter, someone who wrote scripts when you were, because you were drama, right, at VPA?
I was VPA film.
Oh, okay.
So theater with a camera, so I did a lot of plays, and I'll tell you, when I was at Syracuse, one thing that was really important to me was, well, okay, I'll tell you this way. My dad's a doctor, and mom's a teacher, and so when it was time to go to college, my dad said, okay, great, you're going to go to Howard University, you're going to study there, and then you're going to go to med school, and then you're going to intern at the hospital where he was the chief of staff. You know, I was going to intern there, you know, for all that time, and then we were going to go into practice together. And I said,
Edwards and Edwards.
Yeah, exactly. Edwards and Edwards, and you had the shingle, all like kind of whatever. It'll be great. You know, you'd take all my patients, and fun. And he'd take me on rounds and the whole thing. And I said, hey, Dad, you know, I got a different plan. I think I want to go to Hollywood and write jokes. And it was like, over my dead body. So we made a deal. He says I had 9 months. After Syracuse, I had 9 months, and if I couldn't make a living after 9 months, if I ever called him for a penny, then he would send a plane ticket. You know, to Washington, and I would start my, I would take my MCATs and start my medical career. And so I had that on my back the whole way through. And I asked somebody, when I was a freshman, I asked somebody, how long does it take to break into Hollywood? They said, 4 years. I said, I haven't got 4 years. I got 9 months. And so I said, I'm going to start now. So as a freshman, I started applying for jobs in Hollywood. You know, I figured that it was a free no. You know, if anybody said no to me, screw them, you know, whatever. Yeah, I expected it. If I got one yes out of 1,000 inquiries, then yay, you know, I was ahead of the curve. So I started, what was it? I just, anybody I saw that it seemed like they were doing something that was interesting, anybody black in Hollywood, I just wrote them a letter. And
in those days, it had to be, sorry to interrupt you.
I had to write,
it had to be a letter in the mail.
I'm old. So it was like I had to find like studio addresses and actually physically write a letter, type it up, put it in an envelope, and send it, and then just wait. And I just did that. I kind of blanketed Hollywood with fan letters, and you know, trying to be very specific, and trying to see if I could get anybody to reply at all. And of, I'd say 100, 200 letters, I got 3 replies. But it was 3 better than 0, which is what I would just get, being a freshman at Syracuse. And the advice I got was, read as much as you can, write as much, because I said, what would you do, what would you tell your 19-year-old self? And that was my first question to everybody. Like, okay, I want to be you. What would you tell your 19-year-old self? And they said, read as much as you can, write as much as you can, and get out to Hollywood as soon as you can. And so I just started writing. Writing. When I was, I think during the summers, I would work first at PBS. Then I worked, they were making a movie actually, weirdly, in Detroit, which is where I'm from. I went to the school they made fun of in 8 Mile. So, they made this film called Tiger Town. So I worked on that, and side story, but a great story. I go to apply, and this is my dad kind of saying, like, "But if you're going to do this," and he shows me this newspaper, production coming to Detroit, whatever, Tiger Town, blah, blah, blah. So I found out where the production office was, and I put on a suit, which is for a movie, but I put on a 3-piece suit, and I go down to the thing, and everybody's in t-shirt and shorts, and I said, "Oh, here's my resume." I did a high school play, and they said, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "I don't know. What's the low guy? What is that? It's coffee and blah 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 and all kinds of stuff." I said, "Yeah, I'll do that." And they said, "Well, I'm sorry, we're all booked up. We have nothing." And I was walking towards the door, and I said, did I mention I'd work for free? And they said, kid, you start tomorrow at 6 a.m. And so I'm working on this thing, shorts and t-shirt. And it was a baseball movie, so we shot at Tiger Stadium and did all this stuff. And I got there early, and I think they put me on props, tanked on that, and they fired me from props, but they wouldn't let me go. So they put me on costumes. I tanked in costumes, costume guy fired me, and then they put me on snacks. So I was, okay, just stand behind this. And so I'm standing behind the thing, and I realize it's a hot summer. They're shooting in the middle of the stadium, like in the center field, and I had all this cold water, so I put all the cold water in a tray, and I carried it out to the field, and they were like, "Oh, kid, you're a godsend. Oh, what's your name?" I'm like, "Oh, great, yes, I'm Rob, the cold water guy." And so I started doing that, and the camera crew was really cool. They said I hung out with them afterwards, and I helped them kind of pack up. And they said, "Hey, what time do you show up?" Whatever. Like, if you show up a little early, you can help us unpack the truck. So I started unpacking and packing the truck with the camera crew. So I got to know the equipment. A bunch of the guys got hired off into another movie, and they said, "Hey, Rob, we're moving you up to clapper loader," which is the guy who says, "See one, take one." And then you get to load the magazines, and you get to kind of, you get to know everybody, because you get on the slate is what, the sound reel and the take there, and then whatever, how much film is left in the, in the magazine, and you're doing all that. And the director of photography, Bob Ellsworth, who's an Academy Award-winning cinematographer now, he says, "Oh, hey, Rob, yeah, well, good news. We're going to pay you a little bit more than you've been paid already." And I said, "Well, it'd be impossible not to." He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, I've been working for free." He says, "You what? You get here before anybody else. You leave. You're the last person to leave." This is, "Give me a minute." And so he tracks down the producer. And I see them go around the corner, and I just hear yelling. And he comes out, he goes, "See you tomorrow." And a second later, two or 3 seconds later, the producer comes out and says, "We're going to pay you for all the weeks that you've worked." And you're going to get a title on the thing, and your new salary is going to be blah, 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 whatever, all that stuff. And so I was like, "Oh, yay, gas money." So, so I had my first actual gig in Hollywood, and that was before my senior year. So when I got back to Syracuse, I was like, "What did you guys do this summer? Did you see this movie I made?" So that was fun, and that also set me up. Everybody that I worked with then said, "Hey, what are you doing next? We're going off to this other movie." And I said, "Well, I have to go finish college." And they said, "Hey, whenever you get out here, just ring us up, and you got a gig." So then I was able to kind of relax. And from there, it was just, I didn't really want to work on camera crew. So when I actually graduated, I called, quick story, I called Hollywood Variety, and the reporter had a list every Thursday of every production made in Hollywood. And it was something like 60 productions. And so I said, okay, 30 and 30. I'll make 30 calls a day. And so I start calling, and I said, "Hi, my name is Rob Edwards. I'd like it. Click, whatever. Hi, my name is Rob Edwards. I'd like a job. Like, click, nothing." And so I was like, okay. I just sat there and stared at the walls for a while, and then I called back and I said, "Hi, would you like to hear a joke or a piece of gossip?" And they said, "What? Would you like to hear a joke or a piece of gossip?" "Well, I'd like to hear a joke." I'd tell the joke and then hang up. And I did that 30 times, and then 30 more. And then the next rotation, I say, "Hey, would you like to hear a joke or a piece of gossip?" Like, "Oh, wait. Here, I'm going to put you on speakerphone." And he gathers up or whatever. I tell my joke, and then he says, "What's your deal?" who are you first? So I'm Rob Edwards, and I whatever, I get coffee, I get this movie, and stuff. And he said, well, what's your thing? I said, well, at some point you're going to have a guy that's getting coffee for you, and he's going to screw up, and you're going to think, hey, there's that guy who knows jokes and gossip, and so give me a call when that happens. And everyone, oh, great. And then about 2 weeks later, I got 5 calls. I picked the best of those to work on, and that was my first gig. And then I called my dad, and I said, ha ha. Marketing, right? You are your own product. So yeah.
Do you want to open up some more questions?
Gossip?
Jashika James have had an ongoing love affair with film and television since childhood. It wasn't until college that the twin sisters decided to pursue careers in film and TV, both graduating with bachelor's degrees in telecommunication from the University of Florida's College of Journalism. While sharing common goals to write for television, Janika and Jashika have taken very different paths in achieving those goals. Upon graduating from the University of Florida, Jashika went on to work for the hit series Desperate Housewives and Dexter, and later in post-production at ABC Studios. Her professional experience in the writer's room began on ABC's Revenge, where she joined the writing staff in the 3rd season. Following Janika's master's studies at Syracuse University's Newhouse School of Public Communication, she had the opportunity to interview Yvette Lee Bowser, creator and executive producer of the hit Fox television series Living Single. She began her career working for Miss Bowser on UPN's Half and Half. Janika went on to work under the producing team of Jennifer Crittenden, thank you, and Gabrielle Allen, that's Seinfeld, Scrubs, so What's Your Number, at ABC Studios, and later in scripted development at VH1. They also wrote a book, Living Double, and that talks about the behind-the-scenes look of the competitive world of writing for television. Clap it up for the James sisters. So, do you guys both want to share?
Great, wow, cameras, recording, all this stuff. My name's Doug Robinson. I'm oh God, this gets harder to say each time. I'm an 85 graduate of Syracuse. 2 weeks after graduation, I started in the mailroom at CAA, worked my way up to being an agent there. I represented people like Will Smith, Wesley Snipes, Ashton Kutcher, Jennifer Garner, Martin Lawrence, Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, all different kinds of people. I left CAA in like 96, 97, I want to say. I'm not exactly sure when. Time just kind of blurs. How much time do we have, Mitch?
We have about 45 minutes.
Okay, great. I'll keep myself as brief as possible. You guys can ask me questions. Left to start. A couple friends of mine had started this company called Endeavor. 4 friends of mine who had worked with at CAA. I went over. After they had done it for about 9 months, I went over and started the talent department with 2 other of my friends. Endeavor is now WME. Until Wednesday, it was a publicly traded company. They own the UFC, they own TKO. It's an amazing company, one that I never thought it would be. One person had the vision for that company, and he's wildly successful today. That's a guy named Ari Emanuel. Who's fantastic and he's an incredible visionary. I didn't get into this business to own the UFC. Applause to the people who did. They've done, like I said, an incredible job. I got into it because I wanted to represent actors and I wanted to be a storyteller. So I've been lucky I've done both. I had the first half of my career representing actors, and then Endeavor for me was fun when there were 6 of us. I can't imagine what it's like now with 6,000. I left and partnered with Adam Sandler, who was a client and a friend, and we started a production company together. Happy Madison, I started a television company. We did that for a bunch of years. He had nothing to do with the TV side, just because he was off making movies. He then made a deal at Netflix. I stayed at Sony. I've been in an overall deal at Sony Pictures Television for 22 years now. I just signed on for another 3, so I'll have spent 25 years when this is over at Sony Television. That's not something that happens very often. It puts me in a list of a very small group of people who have been at one studio for that long, a group of people, quite frankly, who I don't belong in the same sentence with. Over that time, I've made shows like The Goldbergs. I did another show called Rules of Engagement. I made a show with 50 Cent called For Life that I was really proud of. And now have a bunch of shows set up all over town I have a show with Tyler, the Creator, and Lionel Boyce at HBO. I'm doing a show with Damon John about the founding of FUBU. I just sold the drama to Apple. So just different stuff all over town that we're doing, and that's kind of me. I'll give you my quick overview of the business, and then we'll answer this to questions. We'll open it to questions. By the way, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think the most antiquated name of a major is television, radio, and film. I have this conversation with people at Syracuse all the time. Like, what that says to me is storytellers. Hollywood used to be the center of the storytelling universe. The truth is, we're not anymore. People can tell stories in their own way.
We're going to talk a little bit about entertainment, marketing, and PR, some area of the business that I sometimes feel gets a little lost in all the excitement of people that want to be a producer, a director, a writer. And so it's important to me, and I know it's important to Lauren, to kind of show students like yourselves kind of what we do in the business, because again, it kind of gets, it's a very important part, and especially this day and age where brands are important, franchises are important, just projects in general are important. And so we can talk a little bit about our background. Chivalry is not dead. I'll let ladies go first. You can explain your time at Syracuse a little bit up to where you are now. We were just talking about one of the places that Lauren worked was Sundance, and if you kept in the news, Sundance announced that they are leaving Park City, Utah, and moving to Boulder, Colorado in 2027, which is pretty big news for a lot of reasons.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
Mitch texted me. Everyone's writing. They're moving to Colorado.
Right, so we can talk about that if you want, but we'll give a little bit about our background, and I feel like we can talk a little about like what we do and things that how marketing and PR work together. It's kind of the same goal, but marketing is a very different animal than PR. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of times, but also we could answer your questions. Like Doug, he kind of opens up for your questions if like that's important. I was you, like I said earlier on this morning, I was you once in 1993 when I came out to LA and wanted to ask as many questions.
Great to meet you all. Welcome to LA. I know a lot of you are new first-timers. How many first-time in LA? Wow.
Quite a few.
Amazing. Cool. So I am a kid from New Jersey.
Woo!
New Jersey in the house.
I'm like right on the border of Jersey.
Right, tri-state. So yes, a kid from New Jersey. Sometimes I can't believe as I keep dropping my water that I get to sit here and talk to students because I feel like it was just a minute ago that I was literally doing that. I was so excited to go to Syracuse, and I studied magazine journalism and psychology at Newhouse. I went through it 3 years, which I say that because one, it was to save my parents some tuition costs, but also I was so eager to get out into the world, and the irony of that and working is that I never thought I'd be doing the job I've been doing the last 20 years in the best of ways, but it's been a really cool journey, so I love sort of telling that story and kind of helping you guys navigate this world because it's constantly changing. So I went into school as a PR major, and then after one class I was like, I don't think this is for me, so I swapped, went to magazine journalism, and I said I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to report entertainment news, and that's going to be my track. So when I graduated, I used the alumni directory, which is another great resource of Syracuse and Newhouse. And there was a girl who was working at Entertainment Weekly, the magazine, which is no longer a magazine. And I emailed her and just said, hey, I'm a new graduate, I would love to talk to you about your job. I probably did that 100 times. And she wrote me back and she was like, oh, it's so great to meet you. I got a new job, I'm leaving. Do you want to interview for the job I have? And she was a sales assistant. My parents were teachers. I had no idea about the business world, but I said, sure, let me come in. So I interviewed, having no, obviously, sales experience. But I'm like, I'm going to get in, I'll be a writer. Because I love this magazine. I grew up watching the Oscars, the Grammys. Entertainment was such a big part. It still is of who I am. Clearly now I'm here. But I went in, interviewed 3 times, got the job. All of a sudden I'm sitting at a sales desk, have zero idea what I'm doing 20 years ago. And then suddenly found myself trying to get into that edit position, right? So I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to do this. I'm going to write. I'm going to do film reviews. I'm going to get on the TV side. Like, we're still figuring out .com, which is laughable right now. So I failed getting over to the edit side because it was competitive. There weren't a lot of jobs, and this marketing group was doing all these exciting things.
People whose names don't typically make it to the screen are the marketing and distribution and franchise management people, the teams that I work with, and so I want to celebrate them and have them come up. We're going to do a little bit of a panel on Wicked. I'll ask a round of questions, throw it out to you folks, and let's get it going. Okay, first, coming to the stage, Executive Vice President of Global Publicity.
So we just got done with a networking event here with the people who work at Universal Studios. So now we're about to get ready for our tour.
So far it's great. We in California, there's a lot of influential people here, and I'm getting inspired.
Period. Oh, say your name and your area.
Are y'all coming? My name is Wendy, and I'm perfect. I'm not shy. And in the future, I'm gonna be a brand.
I'm not like celebrating until I get the final grade.
Period.
I don't want to like.
I left those in Virginia.
I'm just like super sick. I don't want to post.
I was gonna do a vlog, but I don't even know if I can post it.
I'm like, look, it's done.
How did that?
Capstone wasn't hard. Like I had this other PR theory.
Yeah, I have to take a camera everywhere I go, even if I don't use it.
And get onto the tram.
Okay.
We are breakneck speed.
Totally fine. I wasn't.
So now we're getting ready to do a tour at Universal Studios, and they gave us glasses because they have a screen. So
Your motivation
You said our driver's facing forward.
I'm sorry. Want to say hi?
He's a consummate professional.
I don't have a speech prepared.
We just got the thumbs up to head on out of here. I will teach you the red carpet, babe. You can wave
Okay, I'm
those
Kirsten.
folks. You can do it with me. It goes elbow,
Strategic
elbow,
communication
wrist,
track.
cross your
We changed the name
Lily
of you.
Kiss.
That was meta. It was
We do have a few safety rules to go over.
You want to say hi?
Assistance or having medical emergency or drop something of value off the
I don't know what else to add.
reach out.
You can just say like your program and stuff. I don't know. Period. Everyone from Detroit who's gonna watch this is gonna be like, hey.
Fire effects, many water effects. You'll want to have your cameras out for great photo opportunities, but keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. Finally, for your safety and those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you are on board. Uh-oh.
On the anxiety, Jesus, run. Oh, this is clear. It's not a big lie. Totally fit the whole belly cast. Oh, we gotta get one of these for the mansion. And for sure, let's keep going. Today's young mansion lives right here.
Of our production bungalows. These are offices to some of the biggest producers, directors, and writers in Hollywood. that they started it as dressing rooms for the stars like Doris Day, Rob Hudson, Tony Curtis. They were what we call contract players at Universal, meaning that they had to fulfill a certain amount of things working for us before they could go to other studios like our camera bigger now actors can go between studios all the time. Sometimes working for multiple studios at the very same time. We're going to be driving by Mark Platt's office. He is a big-time producer. You might not know who that is, but you know his most recent movie. Take a look on the left. You can see a big blue with the Wicked logo. Not only did he bring Wicked to the big screen, he brought it to Broadway 20 years ago with Universal Stage, which is our theatrical arm. He's also the as we pull in, just a reminder to please stay seated with everything inside the tram bag. Please use those cell phones, no flash photography, and welcome to Skull Island.
Jump out at Oh my god! Y'all, it looks better with the dress.
They've worked out two of my favorites, Guardians of the Galaxy and Deadpool.
You don't even got it.
I think I got you, but I don't think I got your last one. I thought it was shaking. I feel wait. Hold on. I like videos because I just pause them and take a screenshot. Yeah. I think I thought I was recording and I actually.
Oh, you didn't record?
Yeah, so now I did. Favorite took a dip in the East River. Alright, here's where I go quiet and take a look around. Right now they're filming at the Home and Family sites. If you are
Get ready for the jump scare!
No, I was like, that's fine because everyone else was in here screaming because they would have just been leaving.
back bright and early Monday at 6 a.m. So just keep everything inside the tram. You're doing great so far. It's meant to look like a train station of some sort. Up by me, there's a sign that says "Welcome to San Francisco." So again, those context clues from reading class. We must be in San Francisco. Up there, I know they have a train called the BART, but ours is called the Immersion. This is just a small California train. We have them from time to time. Everything's gonna be okay. This is gonna be the big one. Hold on tight.
has like they can't go out. Yeah, it's real water, but they like reset it. So it probably just has like a windmill kind of almost, but it goes under the drain and it keeps it in a reservoir. So yeah, because she said you'll kind of start if you're at the end, you'll see it reset itself.
But I heard the context. Oh, there's David. Hey, David, can you check on that for us? David. Oh no, that does not look good, man. Get out of there. You, David. We had a lot of debris out there, and there they all are. So clearly, it's a shark. Good thing that there's some
Clearly, it's a
fish
shark.
in that yellow. We're gonna pull to the other side alone. Oh, good, he's taking the bait. Oh no, he's taking the entire pier with him. This is not good, guys. Not good with the flammable gas tanks.
Oh, that feels so good. I wanted to see it in the middle. I wanted somebody to sit right here. I'm glad I'm not on that. Literally, moment. We gotta stop talking because I said jump scare and jump scare. You said, oh, we're not wet. Now we're wet.
The pleasure is coming from large speakers on top of the buildings. The lightning is coming from strobe light effects also on top of the buildings. And there's the rain. The rain is coming from a very high-tech complex system. In Hollywood, it's pronounced sprinkler. That's right, they're just giant sprinklers. You can see some of the poles hiding in the trees. It shoots the water up, it falls down naturally, and it looks like rain. We can create very fine mists or total torrential downpours with just a twist of a nozzle. And yes, this area is known for flash flooding, but I don't care. Let it rain. Cue the water in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, no.
Go for flood. Watch out for those cell phones.
Oh, it's coming.
Universal does go green, but cycles those thousands of gallons of water to the top of the hill for the next demonstration. Flash flood was seen in a movie called Big Fat Liar, starring Frank Muniz and David Hines and Paul Giamatti. Take a look.
I got a little misty, but I can survive it.
That's called Giamatti. That's called Giamatti stunt double. Could you imagine having to roll down that hill, take after take after take? You know who else used flash flood in this set? Not only Miss Lady Gaga in the music video Judas, but Miss Janet Jackson. Does anyone know the music video? Escapade, yeah, right out there. We are saying goodbye to Old Mexico and we enter our western sets called 6 Points. Yeehaw! And good news, we're already halfway through our tour, so thanks for staying seated with everything inside of the tram. As you take a look at these buildings, you will notice that some of them don't even have back walls, and you're probably thinking, Elizabeth, these sets are really run down. My favorite building is over here on your left. No back wall, no roof. These are on purpose. These are what we call facades. Facades are just the fronts and sides of buildings. We don't need to create an entire structure to make the building look real. All we do is put merchandise in the window, close the curtain up like cowboy or there's so right in. No one at home knows the difference or something. Now you know one of Hollywood's oldest secrets. Again, as we come along on the backside, take a look. This entire wall of windows, all we do is put, stuff in the window. We film it from the other angle and it looks like a full building. I'm going to go quiet one more time while we drive by the home and family house. We are pulling up along our see Colonial Street. Oh, it looks like we might be doing a night shoot. We're doing a brand new Peacock original TV show based on The Burbs, the Tom Hanks movie starring Keke Palmer and Jack Whitehall. So if you think you've seen Keke, you did. And if you don't know what Jack Whitehall looks like, he is dreamy. You should Google him. No. I will not give up hope every day. We're turning on to Steven Spielberg Drive. Here he is telling you about his first visit.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios. Just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams. There were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited.
Let me get in. Get in.
Yeah, Robbie, get in. Where are you doing?
Yes. So we all stopped at Universal City Walk, so that's where we're at right now, and it was fun. It was amazing. It was nice. They almost tried to kill us with dinosaurs. It was nice.
Oh yeah. Like they look like Ducky. Yeah. Oh, Ducky's up. But you see the features though. Like you see it on her? Yeah. Like
Thank you.
Oh, I guess. Everyone's like heads. Is there a camera? I was gonna say.
For like the Medicare, Medicaid
so comfortable. I could go to bed. Right.
We're gonna hike all the way.
I'm nice and soft too.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Big pony cup?
Our outfits are like matching. Like we have matching outfits. I'm gonna insert the pictures that we took.
Okay.
Like to show it, but like look.
Period. Right. Is yours from Fashion Over too?
No, I got this off of Amazon.
They must be having the same suppliers or something.
Yeah. But like look at that. We're like literally matching, just different colors, but we both have black shirts on. Exactly. So that's like really cool.
See, that's why I said yesterday that I needed the.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like it keeps lifting up here.
Yeah. Nobody really noticed it. I kind of noticed it over there, but I thought that you wanted it like that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But you know, yesterday I was in a rush. I said I just need a black shirt. I'll cover it with the button. Normally I would just leave it hanging.
Oh yeah.
But because it was a crop top, I said, oh
yeah.
Let me just try to pull it down as much as I can. Because yesterday, oh, we have some shirts, but it was like V-neck, like the type of. It looked like one of those.
You can finish talking.
It looked like one of those nighttime shirts with the lace on it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Video. This is how you zoom in, like right here.
Okay.
And then that's how you zoom out.
Okay.
You are meant to be.
I think I started the recording.
Yeah, you did.
Honorable to the core. A head like yours is a joy to see. Hufflepuff!
Woo!
I don't know what Hufflepuff is.
I don't even know what that is.
And I feel very fortunate that we are bringing back Jamal Salmon, who joins us from Paramount Pictures. He is the Executive Vice President of Global Film Analytics, another famous alum of Syracuse University. So we are very fortunate. You're class of 2012, so great. I always like to have speakers kind of tell their story, so he's going to give more of his bio, but I just wanted to point out to you a little interesting fun fact about you that you probably don't even really know. Jamal actually got the highest rating for our survey when we talk about our guest speakers that come to this event. So he was like, blew it out of the park. Like everyone loved Jamal last time. So Jamal is back. And I think, honestly, I think it's because you're honestly charming.
So today was the last day of the immersion. I had so much fun. I actually just got back because we went out to eat. Okay, first let me say that my voice is coming back to normal. So I ended up getting a sore throat on Friday. And when I went to sleep and woke up, the sore throat was pretty much gone, but then like my voice was like really raspy. So it's coming back now, like it's coming back to normal, but it's still not normal yet. So that's why I sound like weird. But I can't wait for my voice to come back to normal. And it's also really weird because like I rarely ever get sick. Like I never get sick for real. I like barely get sick. And when I do get sick, like I'm not sick for that long, but like I barely get sick. And so it was weird that like, why did I have to get sick while
I'm in public. Like, you know, like I have to talk to people. Like if I'm at home, then it's fine. I could just stay in the house and get rid of my cold. But like I'm around people. Like why do I have to get sick now? But like, yeah, that's like weird. But anyways, I feel good. Like I don't feel sick or anything. It's just like my voice needs to go back to normal. So it's almost there. I feel like once I go to sleep tonight and wake up in the morning, it'll be back to normal. But anyways, today was the last day of the immersion. It was so fun. I actually just got back. I went out to eat. Tomorrow I will be traveling back home to Detroit. I took a lot of pictures. I took like a whole lot of videos. I think I got more pictures than I got videos, which I like. In a lot of the videos, I didn't even record with my camera. I got it on my phone. But just hearing my voice. But like, so yesterday we went to City Walk and we ate at a restaurant at City Walk, and it was so nice. The waiter was so nice.
I just want to say something really quick. The little scratch like in the corner of my eye, not that anyone cares or whatever, but basically I got that scratch last night because I have really sensitive skin for one, and I was wearing tinted moisturizer the other day and I was washing it off my face and I accidentally I accidentally like wiped really hard right there in the corner of my eye, so it got like that little scab right there, but it ended up healing the very next day. So back to regular programming.
He actually gave us free gelato and free tiramisu, so it was on the house, and he gave it to us as a graduation gift because all of us were all graduating, and he seen like our Syracuse University like name tags and everything, and he was like, you all are graduating, right? So he was like, on us as a graduation gift, we're gonna give you guys free tiramisu and free gelato. So it was 5 of us, so he gave us each, like he gave 2 bowls of tiramisu, and like me, Winnie, and Kaylin shared a bowl, and then Diane and Courtney shared a bowl, and then he also gave us like different flavors of, like 4 different flavors of gelato in the same bowl, so like 2 scoops of each. I'm like, that was like so nice that he gave us that as like a congratulations, like a graduation like gift. Right now I'm like kind of tired, so I'm about to get ready